This is a presentation of BSRN, Box Studios Radio Network. The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here is your host of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for January 16th, 2025. This is season 14, episode number 35, and episode number 474 in the long-running podcast that is the Power Play Post Show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. I am Bob Howard. I am your host. I want to thank you all for joining us. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to cover. We have a great guest in Khade Henry. Glad to finally get him on the show, and really excited for you guys to hear my conversation with Khade in just a little bit. The Black Bears just came off of a 4-game road trip to Michigan, separated by 2 weekends. First was obviously in Port Huron, and then, of course, the last 2 games were in Motor City. We did not do a show on Sunday. I took a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a break, which is good every now and then. But the team came home with 5 points, and we cannot underestimate this team, no matter what situation they're put in, whether it be on the road for 2 weekends in a row, away from their home crowd, the home fans here at the Visions Veterans Memorial Arena, or whether it's just, injuries or whatever it might happen or come up, the Black Bears seem to pull through. Again, it's that Bill Belichick systems that obviously Coach Brant Sherwood has in place, where he can plug in guys at any given time and get positive results. That's what Coach Belichick has done in the NFL. You may not like it. You may not like him. You may not like the New England Patriots, but it worked, and it worked for about 17 years. And it's worked for the past year and a half, 2 years, for Coach Brant Sherwood, creating systems simple enough that anybody can come in and play them, but complicated and complex enough to get results. And that's what he's done so far. So the Black Bears, no matter what position they're in, and this was also the end of the first 28 games. In the first 28 games, the first half of the season. In the first half of the season, 23-4-1 is pretty darn good. And if you didn't read my day after game report on Sunday morning, you should go back and read it. They've actually done better than they did last year, at least in my opinion. Now, they have one more regulation loss than they did after the first 28 games last year, but they are winning more games in overtime and more games in, obviously, regulation. And that is huge. So scored more goals. They've allowed less goals. They are number one in shorthanded goals with 10. I don't think anybody's even really close to them when it comes to the confidence that they have when they're on the penalty kill to go and strike and get a shorthanded chance. Now, in some cases, we have seen this year, and this is pretty impressive with this team, that they can go shorthanded and get 2 or 3 chances in one penalty kill. That's pretty darn good. And they've actually capitalized on that once, where they've scored. So it's just one of those things that they're just playing very, very well. Power play is playing well. Penalty kill is playing well. Penalty kill, the last 3 games they've given up 2 power play goals each in each of the last 3 games. But that's okay, because you can't be perfect on the penalty. There's no team ever is perfect. And the Black Bears were very, very good for about 14 games. And so, 6 goals, 6 power play goals, probably the one thing they got to clean up, and I'm sure Coach Sherwood has seen it, has talked about it a little bit, about cleaning up the penalty kill just a little bit. But at the same time, they've also scored shorthanded as well so many times. So there's that balance, right, of when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive on the special teams, especially on the penalty kill. But the Black Bears have done a very good job in all of that. So let's get into this so I can kind of go through all the stuff that I want to talk about and get to Khade Henry as well. The Power Play Post Show is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show, whichever platform you listen to your podcast, and please subscribe. And you know what? Throw us a review too if you want to, whether it be on YouTube or Spotify. Let us know how we're doing. Let me know how I'm doing. Please join the Power Play Post Show Facebook group. Just go to Facebook and join. Search for Power Play Post Show. Please join and share anything that you can with any of your friends and family. Check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your Binghamton hockey information and curiosity. And on this edition of the Power Play Post Show, Khade Henry of the Binghamton Black Bears, one of their young forwards, true rookie forwards this year, and great kid. Can't wait for you guys to get to talk to him. All right, so let's talk about it. The Black Bears start a 2-week, 3 games and 3 nights on both weekends. This weekend sees the Black Bears take on the Watertown Wolves on Friday night and Saturday night as well, traveling to Poughkeepsie, New York, for the HC Venom's first home game in the McCann Arena, which is a start time of 3 p.m. on Sunday. Then next, the Black Bears will travel by plane to Biloxi, Mississippi, to take on the Mississippi Sea Wolves for 3 games and 3 nights on Friday the 24th, Saturday the 25th, and Sunday the 26th. Now, life does not get any easier for the Black Bears, as they will see the Columbus River Dragons come into the arena in 3 weeks to face off in 2 games and 2 nights. That affair, which will start a 9-game home run from January 31st to March 1st for the Black Bears. So it's not an easy 3 weeks. It's not an easy 2 weeks with 3 games and 3 nights. But then after that, you add on the Columbus River Dragons, and they're a good team no matter what year they are. They play well. They have good systems. They're coached well. They always have good players. They always have a great crowd behind them in their home arena. Now, these 2 games will be here in Binghamton after, obviously, the Mississippi trip. So interesting enough, in January, you get Binghamton only, a couple times, maybe 3 times, right? Because the first 2 weekends they were in Port Huron, and then they were in Fraser, Michigan for the Motor City games. Then they come home for 2 games against Watertown. I think some fans are going to travel to Poughkeepsie for the game against the Venom on Sunday, right? And then they go to Mississippi for 3 games. And then the final day of the month is the Columbus game. So realistically, only 4 games, from New Year's Eve to obviously the end of the month for the Black Bears at home. So it'll be nice for them to get 9 games at home in a row between January 31st and March 1st. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Tyson Kirkby's weekend, right? This past weekend. On Friday night, Tyson assisted on 2 goals, which did break his 8-game goal scoring streak, but he did continue his 13-game points streak. Okay. On Saturday night, Tyson then scored the Black Bears' first goal of the game versus the Rockers, which was his 8th power play goal of the season, putting him one behind the Venom's Noriega, who is called up right now to the SPHL for at least at the moment. But as all the Black Bears were home resting from their trip to Motor City, Tyson was on his way to Reading, Pennsylvania to suit up in 1 game versus the Reading Royals of the ECHL. This was Tyson's second call up to the ECHL, as he previously played 1 game for the Adirondack Thunder earlier in the season. The Royals were playing against the Lions in Reading and won the game 4-3. Tyson did not score in the game, but that's not the most important part of this call-up. And this is a part I really wanted to talk about. The relationship that head coach Brant Sherwood and Royals head coach Jason Brinkley, or with Adirondack Thunder head coach Pete MacArthur, forge is an important one. So the 3 of these coaches, 2 of them in ECHL, 1 in the Fed, the role that the relationship they forge with each other is very important. It will help drive the future of the Fed in getting players called up. Whether or not players can get a shot in ECHL from the Fed is solely based on relationships between these head coaches and not the perceptions of fans and so-called experts who think the SPHL is the next step. With that being said, could a Brant Sherwood-led team beat all the SPHL teams? Personally, I think the Athens Rock Lobsters, Carolina Thunderbirds, and Columbus River Dragons could all give the SPHL teams a run for their money, including the Binghamton Black Bears. Steve Martinson knows how to play all kinds of systems, and likely his team could beat most of the teams in the SPHL. Brant is at that level. Systems and adjustments during a game are important and no two coaches are better than that in the Fed right now than Brant and Steve Martinson. Some of the players in the SPHL are better than players in the Fed. I will not argue that. But all of the SPHL teams are well coached as the top 4 to 6 teams in the FPHL. I would argue not. Okay, but are the teams in the SPHL as well coached as the top 4 to 6 teams in the FPHL? Probably not. The league is changing and evolving. Again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. In 5 years, there will likely only be one single A league. But also, because of the relationships between the Fed coaches and the ECHL coaches, I don't see in those 5 years where if a good quality player decides to play in the Fed and has a good quality coach, then I don't see why they will not get the chance to play in the ECHL. It's all about relationships. For example, Brant Sherwood moves into a position in the ECHL in the future, and one of his players like Tyson Kirkby, Kyle Steffen, or say Dan Stone becomes the new head coach of the Black Bears. That relationship and trust that he has with one of those 3 or other players can help other players get a call up to the ECHL that Sherwood is at. These are the relationships that were not there before in the Fed. But because of Steve Martinson and now Brant Sherwood, they can forge them. They can create these relationships that are going to help their players because there is a perception out there. And the perception is basically that the Fed is below the SPHL. Now, no person in this whole equation buys into that more than the players. The players think that the SPHL is the next step. I even talked to Khade Henry about, coming into the Fed, and he thought he was going to go to the SP. He thinks because the mindset is the SP is better. The players are thinking that now, right? They still think that. But there are people out there that know that there are systems and coaches that are preparing players in the Fed that are good enough to play in the ECHL. I think we'll see more of this relationship between Brant Sherwood, Steve Martinson, and there might be another coach out there that can forge one of those relationships. Right now, some of the coaches in the Fed are forming relationships with the SP team closest to them. Blue Ridge and Roanoke are a prime example. These 2 organizations are working together to send someone to Roanoke, send someone from Roanoke down to Blue Ridge. But those relationships can also expand to the ECHL. And I think that's important. And if a new team comes into Columbus, Indiana, and they can forge a relationship with the Indy Fuel, that will happen there. But it's going to take the coaches to do that. It's going to take the coaches to say, hey, listen, I've got this guy, right? Imentus Norica playing with the Columbus or the Indiana Sentinels next year, right? And they say to the Indy Fuel, the head coach from one says to the head coach of the other, hey, this guy is killing it. He's already got like 5 or 6 or 9 power play goals. He's got a great shot. Give him a shot. He goes up there and he plays a game. Maybe he comes back down. That's fine, whatever. But those relationships are going to be the key to changing the mindset of people when they look at the Fed. Because at the end of the day, Tyson Kirkby has worked hard. He's done what his coaches asked of him, and he has led his team to a championship, and that puts him on par with any captain in the SPHL. Any captain in the SPHL, I think Tyson Kirkby could stand up and play a game against them and be victorious. So that's really what it comes down to. I thought it was a great weekend for Tyson to go up there. No, he didn't get any shots on goal. No, he didn't, get probably, as much playing time. But there's a relationship. And matter of fact, as I'm recording this here on Wednesday, he still has not been activated by the Black Bears because there is the possibility that he could play another game up in Reading. So that's the reason why he's not been added back to the Binghamton roster. Now, I can rest assure you, I've already talked to Coach Sherwood. He has practiced all week with the Binghamton Black Bears. If Reading needs him, it's simple. He just drives down to Reading, plays a game, comes back. But at this point, he should be with the Black Bears on Friday night against the Wolves. Now, that's the next part for us, right? The Black Bears face off at home against the Watertown Wolves on Friday and Saturday night. This will be their 5th and 6th games against the Wolves this season. In the first 4 games between these two teams, the Black Bears are 3-1-0 against the Wolves, and their only win being in Binghamton. The Wolves' only win being in Binghamton on banner-raising night back on October 12th. Happy birthday to me. But the Wolves are not the same team as they were the last time they played the Wolves back on November 30th, where the Black Bears beat them 9-2. Matter of fact, that was like a pivotal point in the Wolves' season. They came in. Everybody thought that Pence Jr. was doing such a great job. Matter of fact, even Coach Sherwood said to me, he goes, well, you know what? I mean, he's doing something good there because they are scoring. They are playing well. And then the Black Bears just kind of destroy the Wolves in that game, 9-2. I think Pence Jr. was stepped back. He was going to come on the Power Play Post Show and then made the decision to not do so. Since that 9-2 victory, the league's best team, which is the Black Bears, the Wolves saw their head coach, Charlie Pence Jr., be released from his duties, and a number of players have either left, been suspended indefinitely, or traded, including Michael Mercurio, who went to the Baton Rouge Zydeco, and then I believe got then sent to Blue Ridge, and I think he just signed on today. Chatwin Blacksmith is now with the Columbus River Dragons. Kyle Heitzner is now with the Monroe Moccasins, and bringing in Justin Coachman as their new head coach. And let's see here, they got Stephen Klink from Elmira, from Columbus, but they've seen players. Oh, wait, I really screwed that up. And bringing in Justin Coachman as their new head coach, and getting Matt de Blasio from the Venom, as well as David Gallietta, also from the Venom. The Wolves also got Stephen Klink from Columbus. He also played in Elmira, if you remember the last season. But I also have seen players like Tate Leeson get a call from the SPHL as well. This team is completely different. Plus, Kyle Powell was allowed to sign with the team. We still don't know how that happened. He was indefinitely suspended. But it is what it is. This is a different team. That's basically the point I'm trying to make here. Even with Trevor Lord and Carter Thornton leading it, the first game on Friday night, I think everyone will be feeling each other out. Again, seeing that the Black Bears and the Wolves have not faced each other in 47 days. So the day that they play this game, it'll be 47 days before that's a long time in the season. It really is. And a lot of stuff has changed. There are different components now on this team. Trevor Lord leads it, of course. We all know that. But it is a different team. And Justin Coachman, we'll see how he decides to coach the team. So who do you look out for? Trevor Lord, 16 goals, 23 assists for 39 points in 24 games played. He does a little bit of everything, right? 4 power play goals, 3 shorthanded goals, 5 game-winning goals. David Gallietta, right? This season so far, 10 goals, 26 assists for 36 points in 22 games. That's both with the Wolves and the Venom. He's got 4 power play goals on the season. I'm sure he'll be on the power play for the Wolves. I'm sure he'll even be on the first power play. Anton Bordorkin, 12, 6 and 1, 3.56 goals against average, and a 907 save percentage. Those numbers have gone up a little bit since we saw him earlier in the season. On the power play, Watertown is ranked first. Still, so even though they've had some changes, they're still doing well on the power play. 30 power play goals in 25%. They are ranked number 1. Binghamton is ranked number 2 with 38 power play goals, which is the most in the league, but they also have the most chances. But they are firing at a 24% rate. On the penalty kill, Watertown is ranked 9th. This is one of their Achilles heels and has been all season. They've given up 26 power play goals, and that's a 79% kill rate, where Binghamton is ranked number 2, only giving up 20 power play goals, and that's an 86% kill rate. The Wolves are 16, 9 and 1 with 46 points, good for the second in the Empire Division, and the Black Bears are 23, 4 and 1 with 65 points and lead the league and is the division best. The Black Bears will then travel on Sunday afternoon to Poughkeepsie, New York for their first meeting in the McCann Arena against the HC Venom. Now, this is a rink that can hold, I think, 12 to 1,400 fans. We'll see how they do. This is the first home game for the Venom in this arena. They are looking for at least 1,000 fans. They have to be. And can they pull that off on a Sunday? That is really a big question here. They have been doing a lot of promotion on social media and have been able to get promotion out to the Poughkeepsie area. Is that likely going to determine how many fans they get? This game is game number 146. That was initially scheduled for December 27th and was to be played in Newburgh, New York, but it was postponed after Pat Manning and the arena really just could not get along. And it took the FPHL, the ownership group now for the Venom, the new ownership group. It took them at least a few weeks to get this all sorted out, because the same people that own the McCann Arena own the arena down there in Newburgh, New York. So they had to really, really kind of make good with the owners of the arena. The Black Bears played the Venom 4 times previously, 2 games in Newburgh and 2 games in Binghamton, and are 4-0-0 against the Venom. However, the November 1st game went into the shootout with Cam Clark scoring the only shootout goal. The last game between these two teams was on December 31st, New Year's Eve, where the Black Bears got a 7-2 victory. In that game, Black Bears scored their first 5. They scored the first 5 goals of the game. They got 2 from Dakota Bond, 2 goals from Tyson Kirkby, and Gavin Yates scored the first goal of the game. Donald Oliveri and Khade Henry, who's going to be on the show, and you can hear from him in just a little bit, also scored for the Black Bears as the Venom got goals from Zychek and Beloff. So who do you look out for? Well, you look out for Dustin Jesso. We all know who he is. We all know the skilled player he is. He's got 20 goals, 19 assists, and 39 points in 15 games. He's got 2.6 points per game average, and he's got 6 power play goals and 2 game-winning goals. Jesso is definitely one that we've talked about it multiple times, right? He is a highly skilled player. He's got great hockey IQ. It's the mental fortitude that sometimes gets in the way, unfortunately, for him. Hopefully, he keeps it all in check. And we'll see. Lester Brown, he's got 3 goals, 12 assists, and 15 points for 15 points in 21 games played. He's got 1 goal and 3 assists with the Venom. He was previously with the Dashers, so he's somebody new that the fans are going to see. John Moretti, 5 wins, 9 losses, and 1 overtime loss, a 4.59 goals against average, and an 888 save percentage. Those numbers have gone up since the last time we saw these guys. No Norica. He's got 9 power play goals. He is deadly on the power play, but he is right now playing in the SPHL. We'll see if he comes down before Sunday's game, but at this point, it doesn't look like it. Now, on the power play, The Venom rank third on the power play with 27 goals, but again, 9 of those are Noriega's, so you gotta have to kick that back a little bit. They score 24% of the time on the power play. Binghamton, of course, again ranked second with 38 power play goals and ranked 24% as well. On the penalty kill, the Venom rank ninth with 27 power play goals given up, and at a 79% rank and at a rate. And Binghamton, again, ranked second. So they're second, Binghamton, on the power play and on the penalty kill. They've only given up 20 for an 86%. So if the Venom get in trouble, the Black Bears will make them pay. The Venom are 7-12-2 with 23 points, good for sixth in the Empire Division. The Black Bears are 23-4-1 with 65 points, as we already mentioned, best in both the Empire and the league itself. So 3 games in 3 nights, honestly, with different ramifications and meanings between the two opponents. For the Wolves, they made a lot of changes, and the true test for the team is how they do against the Black Bears, right? So the Wolves are really going to test themselves and see, hey, listen, are we as good as we used to be? Because if we are, we could split these 2 games with the Black Bears. If they can't split the 2 games with the Black Bears, then the changes that have been made, that some of it was because of ownership, some of it was not. We'll see what happens here. How does Coachman coach this team against his former team? He knows Brant. He knows this team a little bit. How does Kyle Powell factor into this? Or does he not at all? Right? He's getting later in his years. I'm not saying he's an old man. I'm not saying he's a bad player. But honestly, how much time has he really played? I'm sure he's played a little bit of senior hockey up in the Toronto area. Do the Black Bears get all 6 points or 2 wins? Then on Sunday, the Venom, and let's be honest, the Wolves are playing for trying to catch up to the Black Bears. There's a difference of like 17 points. Even if they get 6 this weekend, it's still 11-point difference, right? But that's what they're playing for. That's what the Wolves are playing for. Then on Sunday, the Venom are really the ones who need to make a statement in front of their new slate of fans. I think the beginning of the future or the beginning of the end of the Venom start this Sunday, January 19th. And if you want to see another local team stick around, you might want to go out there and buy a ticket and go see this team. Because if they only get a couple hundred tickets sold and only a couple hundred people show up, and that happens the rest of the games, it's not going to work. And the Venom will be gone. And that's unfortunate. But they really need to make a statement with the new slate of fans. This game is more about how the Venom do and not about the Black Bears. It really isn't. And I really, truly believe it. Now, I do want to say that we are working with MJ Merkel to possibly get Brett Parker on the show next week. So hopefully we can make that happen. I'm also looking to potentially have Zach Sirota on the show next week as well. So we should have a good one. Khade Henry, we'll do 6 more questions with him on this upcoming Sunday as we also recap all 3 of the games from this weekend. So we got a great show planned for you. We still have a great interview for you here. So coming up next here on the Power Play Post Show is Khade Henry of the Binghamton Black Bears. We'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Hi, this is Don Biggs from the 92-93 Binghamton Rangers.
Hi, this is Brandon Buczynski.
This is Grady Wittenberg, the voice of the Binghamton Senators, and you're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. I am very excited to have this gentleman on. He comes to us from the Binghamton Black Bears. He is one of their forwards and one of their young rookies who is on the team and trying to figure everything out. He is Khade Henry. Khade, welcome to the show. Great to have you on. Thank you very much for joining me here on the Power Play Post Show. It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here, talk to you. Yeah.
So Khade, let's talk a little bit about growing up. Now, you were born in Markham, but you told me that you guys kind of moved around a little bit while you were young throughout basically Ontario, basically. Talk a little bit about where you guys kind of moved around to and played. And I know you really liked being in Peterborough, but tell us a little bit about, all the different places that you lived in Ontario.
So the earliest I can remember is living in Oshawa when I was around 6. And then when I was when I was 6, my dad had a stroke. So then we moved with my grandparents in Whitby. And then we lived there for, I'm not sure, a year, maybe more. And then we bought a house literally down the street from my grandma. And we lived there for quite a bit. But so I started off my hockey career in Oshawa. And I played, I started out house league, and then I started playing a year older A for, I want to say, 2 years. And then I came back down to my own age group. And then after, I don't know how long I was playing for, a few years. And then we moved to Whitby. And then I was just playing Whitby AAA until I was about 15. And then when I was 16, we moved all the way to Quinte, which is about 2 hours from Whitby, and played there for a year. And then I tried to play Junior A, but then the Junior A coach, he recommended me to this team, Junior C team, and it's called the Picton Pirates. And I did pretty well there. It was a very good team. We went on like a 23-game win streak during the season. I was leading my division in scoring. It was definitely a good year. I was 16, so I was the youngest on that team as well. And then after that, I played Junior A. I started in Trenton, and then I went to Markham Royals. And then I played in Aurora, and then I finished off my junior career in the ECHL with the Kentville 73s.
Now, for you, getting through all those different teams and moving from team to team, what I think fans probably don't realize up in the junior side of hockey, even Tier 3 hockey up in Canada, it is very competitive. It is very, I don't want to say cutthroat, but it kind of is. Major Junior, Junior A, Tier 3, Tier 2, all that is very cutthroat, and players shift around a lot. That's kind of normal, right?
Yeah, it's very normal. Players move around a lot. And it's also like you can decide. Like, if I wanted to stay on one team the whole time, I could have, of course. It was more so my decision to move around and, go for the best opportunity for me and obviously what my family thought. So it's like dependent. Some players don't have choices. Other players have more choices, It's not like they just go up and trade you. Like, it's a conversation. So, I mean, everyone's different, but my situation was definitely, I wanted a different space, different team, and so that's kind of why I moved around a little bit.
Was there coaches that when you're playing Junior A hockey, were there particular coaches that kind of like more spoke to you better than maybe other coaches?
I think I've had some really good coaches. I've had some not so good coaches in my career. But, I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Can you talk to me a little bit about playing, obviously, up in the Toronto area, because there are a lot of hockey players. There's a lot of competition. This is not something that you can just go in and kind of be complacent. You kind of have to really work harder than the other guy to keep your position. Can you talk a little bit about that for me?
Oh, yeah, it's very, very hard. Like, growing up, I also played soccer as well, playing soccer during the summer, which I don't think was ideal for my hockey career at all. I find that as soon as I quit hockey I quit soccer at 16, and my hockey just improved because I was more focused on hockey, and I was on the ice more. And so, yeah, obviously playing against players that want to obviously go with the NHL and work hard. You just have to work your hardest. Work ethic beats talent every day. So it's all about your heart and how much you want it. And I think the players that woke up every morning and really chase their dreams, put in all the work, really got the most out of their junior careers. And I think for myself, like, I was a multi-sport athlete, and not all my time was always on hockey. So I don't think I got what I deserved. I think I would have been a lot better if I just focused on hockey, honestly. But I was always pretty good, and I was always one of the top players on my team. So yeah, I think my love of the game just brought me to where I am. And the older I get, the harder I'm working. So
Yeah. No.
If I worked this hard when I was younger, I don't even know where I would be, honestly.
Well, and I think as you get older, and trust me, as you get even older, you'll have to work harder to kind of keep that pace that you have. Trust me, I can tell you that for sure, and I'm sure Coach Sherwood could tell you that, obviously as well.
Sure.
So obviously you had to make a decision at 16 to stop playing soccer. Were there anything that you could compare between soccer and hockey that are similar? Because, again, most people would look at both sports and go, well, there's a lot of differences, right? One's on ice, on blades, and the other one, you're just running up and down the field a lot, and there's not a lot of scoring. But can you tell me, is there anything that is similar between the two sports?
Well, a lot of people think soccer is not very physical, which I would disagree. I think soccer is also a very physical sport. A lot of shouldering. Like, I played striker, and it's not like I was just running around not being hit or kicked and stuff like that. So the physicality is definitely there as well. Not the same level, of course, but when you're on the board and you're getting rubbed out, it's similar to when you're protecting the ball and you're running down the sidelines. It's similar in that sense. And obviously stamina. When I was playing soccer, my stamina was at a completely different level. Like, my hockey was a lot better because of my soccer stamina that it gave me. So that as well. But obviously, they're completely different sports. But I find that
the physicality.
Soccer players are also good skaters as well, right? Because you go with your feet, a little bit more technical. So I think my playing soccer helped me with my skating a little bit as well.
Yeah, your ankles are probably stronger, right? Because you're
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, everything is, you're working them and you're moving them. So you talk about the physicality, and what I don't think people realize is soccer players don't wear a lot of pads at all, right? So there is
not at all, just a little bit on your shins.
Yeah, just on your shins, and so the physicality can take the abuse, or you take more of an abuse, as a soccer player, maybe because of some of the collisions that you might have, the kicking that might happen on accident, they say, and everything. So do you think that injuries happened a little bit more playing soccer versus hockey?
I was probably the same,
Yeah.
Like, growing up, I had cartilage in my knee dying out, and I went to so many doctors. They all said that it was just growing pains. And then I went to a specialist at Sick Kids Hospital. She's like, the cartilage in your knee is dying, which I don't remember. I think it was just because how active it was from playing hockey and soccer. After school, some days I'd be going to soccer practice right after going to hockey practice. And then at school, I'm running around all day. So I think it was because of that, just being so active. But I think it's relatively the same. Pulling MCLs, getting hit, falling, breaking arms. I think it's relatively the same.
How do you think the junior hockey world is going to change now that they've changed certain rules that are going to allow players to go and play?
It's going to be insane. It's going to be a lot different because all the players that, they didn't go to major junior because they wanted to go D1. Now they're just going to go major junior. And so those kids that don't make major junior teams that are playing the regular route of junior A to D1, that's going to be completely almost way harder for those kids to go. So I think most D1 teams are just going to pick up from major juniors. And if you aren't fortunate enough to make one of those teams, it's going to be very hard for you to go D1. And then D3 as well is going to be way more competitive. It's going to be so much more competitive because of that as well.
Because there's going to be more talented players that are going to come and play D3 too, right?
Yes, exactly. Because those major junior kids now have an opportunity to go to school, and to where they weren't eligible to play D3, they're now eligible to D3.
Yeah, so, it's pretty crazy. How do you think it's going to also affect or change hockey for youth or for kids in Toronto? Because there's so many players. This has got to just make it ultimately crazy over the next few years.
I mean, hockey in Toronto is already crazy, and I'm sure this is going to make it even more crazy somehow. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm glad this didn't happen when I was younger. But
really?
But no, I take that back, because now there's those NIL deals.
Yeah.
So these kids are making money. Yeah. So I wish this happened when I was younger. Maybe I'd be a little bit more motivated. But
because money does motivate people. I mean, let's be honest.
Money does motivate, especially myself. So
no, that's completely fair. Now, did you grow up a Toronto Maple Leafs fan?
To this day.
To this day. Can you explain to fans, and maybe some fans that are like fans of the Chicago Bears, they'll understand, but how hard is it to be a Maple Leafs fan from day to day sometimes? Because it's difficult, right? Because let's be honest. Go ahead.
Sorry, because of how talented our team is. You know, we have the best goal scorer in the world, Austin Matthews. We have some amazing players like Nylander, Marner. We have Tavares now. We have great pieces on this team, and we have better goaltending this year than we have in previous years. But obviously, it's just the talent that we have and how good of a regular season runs we have sometimes, and then just come playoffs, it's like, where'd you guys go? What team are we even watching, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the whole thing with the Maple Leafs is we're such a good team. Regular season, we do well, and we have high hopes. Like, every year they say this is a team that are going to make that push past the second round. They're going to go, but then we choke and never get past it. So
it's tough. It's tough for Toronto fans, kind of like for Yankee fans here in the States for baseball. Every single year, I'm told by somebody, that supposedly knows more than me, that the Yankees have a team that's going to win the championship. And they haven't done it since 2009. And I'm not saying that the Yankees and the Maple Leafs have the same kind of tortured souls, but there is an expectation every year, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm just as delusional as every Maple Leafs fan. If you're asking me right now who's going to win the Cup, I'm going to tell you, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, I know it's not going to be my New York Rangers. They've already screwed this season up horribly. Yeah. So I know the feeling on that one. Talk about the decision to go to Morrisville State College.
That was the only school that I toured, visited, and it was good. The coaches really wanted me. They brought me in, and it was pretty fast. Happened pretty fast, so I don't remember too much, but yeah.
But what's amazing to me is how many players are coming out of Morrisville State College and playing pro hockey. It almost seems like they're built for that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we have Stubbs, we have Clarkey, we have me, we have Mott. I mean, like, we have some talented players that go to Morrisville. Obviously, Morrisville is not the best hockey school. Like, they're kind of the lower end every year.
But they produce players that play pro hockey.
They do.
So something is being done correct there.
Yeah. I mean, we do a lot of skill practices. Practices were pretty good. I'll give them that. I don't know. I think it was just the individuals, honestly, just made their way out.
And then how did
wanted to play hockey and do good?
Yeah, how did you get in touch with Binghamton and obviously the Black Bears?
So this summer, obviously I was trying to find a team, and obviously I wanted to go play in the SV, but I only had 1 year of college under my belt, and I had to start my pro career in SB, and so I was like, me and my mom, we made a little highlight tape of myself, and I just emailed Binghamton my highlight tape, and then literally the next morning, Jersey, Coach Brentwood called me, and he goes, we had a conversation, and pretty much signed me there.
And what was it like to come to camp and you come into the arena? Did you know anything about Binghamton before you came here?
Yeah, so Clarkie, obviously I went to school with him last year. And so me and him have been close. And he invited me to come up watch a game because, obviously he was planning on playing there, and he got invited to watch the game. So I went up with him, and we watched one of those games. We were just very surprised about the atmosphere and everything, and he was very hyped. And that was my first time ever witnessing an FP game and obviously a Black Bears game. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I would definitely like to play here. So it was already on my radar. I was like, all right, this is definitely a place I'd like to play. And so, so I was very excited when I sent out that. And obviously I got here differently than a lot of other people. I don't know how other people got here. It was obviously like through phone calls and stuff, but I just emailed Coach my highlight tape, and then he gave me a call. It's definitely different.
No, without a doubt. Your first game here in Binghamton, it was banner raising night. You obviously knew that the Black Bears had won the cup, and you've probably been in touch with Cam, and so you guys come out and you do the banner. And did you kind of look around and go, "Wait a second here"? There's some history here in this arena that's been played over the last 52 years. Were you able to?
I saw Sorry, you're going.
No, go ahead.
No, I was looking at I was sitting down in the bleachers the other day, and I saw obviously the Senators won some things, and there's a bunch of championship banners. And I know this arena's been up for 52 years, and so there's definitely some history in this place. And I definitely noticed it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And what about that first night on the ice when you guys played that first game in front of the fans? I know it wasn't the result that you guys wanted, but it was still one of those nights where it was pretty special.
Well, yeah. I mean, we just beat Watertown our first game of the season.
Yep.
Pretty easy. Not I would say easy, but we definitely were the better team. And coming into that night, I think we were definitely a little bit overconfident in ourselves, with the banner raising and just beating them in the home barn. And so I think it was honestly not the worst thing that happened because, it opened our eyes a little bit. Mm-hmm. And we definitely, from that point on, has been, we always see as red. So obviously it's not what we wanted, but, from that, I think from that point on, we kind of realized, all right, it's a new season. We won it last year, but it's a new season, and we gotta get the ship on the road and really lock in.
So you scored.
It's not the worst thing to happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You scored your first goal 4 games into the season against the hockey club Venom, and I believe it was just in the middle of the game, right? You weren't the first goal. You weren't the first goal. You weren't the last goal. You weren't the game-winning goal. You were just literally. You got your first goal in, and I think you were on the line with Cam Clark and Christopher Mott. So literally, guys, and whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that goal?
Oh, I just remember. I literally remember Bob coming down, and then I opened up for a 1T right beside the net on the left side, and I just remember in my head don't miss, and he passed it, and I was literally doing a folding one-timer, and obviously I put it in. I was like, oh, thank God I didn't miss that, because before that I hit 3 posts before that. Yeah. So in my mind I was overdue. I was like, I should have already had 3 goals by this point, and so I was happy, but also kind of mad. I was like, man, this is my first goal, but I should have had a few more.
And there was 4,000 fans in that arena, basically. So that was pretty exciting to get that kind of crowd going for that goal.
For sure. Oh, 100%. I find when I score though, I kind of block it out. I don't really hear it. You know what I mean?
No, really.
I just focus on my team and stuff. Honestly, I don't even notice 4,000 fans when I score. Obviously, I notice it when we walk out and then after the game. But during the game, I think I'm just really focused on the game and what we got to do, and just talking to my teammates and stuff like that. I'm not too focused on really how many people are there, where I don't really hear them too much, honestly. So
you've been to some of the community events, the booster club meetings, that type of thing. What has the community here in Binghamton been like for you guys? For you as a player coming here, not really. I mean, you know Kim, and you know probably a couple of the other guys, but not knowing a lot of people here.
Yeah.
How good has the community been for you to support you guys, and even for yourself?
Honestly, it's so like we went to a booster meeting yesterday, and it's honestly just so amazing how much these people care for us, how much they love hockey and love our team, and honestly care for us as players as well. Like after the booster meeting, we get a chance to like talk to the people that support us and help us in every way, and they're just like, "What do you want for bus food?
Yeah.
What's your favorite snacks? Is there anything you guys need?" Like they just care so much about us, and they really just love us and love hockey, and
makes you feel like you're at home, right?
So
a little bit.
I feel like at home, and it also just makes us feel like a pro. Like, we feel like pro hockey players here.
Yeah.
And I know in other organizations in this league, you don't feel like that.
It's tough.
And so I just think the support and all of that just makes it really feel like amazing, and honestly, like it's probably the coolest thing I've been a part of.
Yeah. How close are you and Zach Sirota as players? You guys both grew up kind of in the suburbs of Toronto. You know, he was in, I think, Vaughan, Ontario, where he's kind of from. Playing a couple years apart. You guys both played for the Royals, the Markham Royals. Are you guys similar in any sense of where I know on the ice you guys are a little bit different on the ice, but are there some similarities because you guys growing up close in age and in that greater Toronto area?
Yeah, no, he's definitely one of my closest friends on the team. Like ever since he came in, we've just been close. Like the first week he came, we went and got shawarma. We hung out a lot. After practice, we do shooting drills together. We've been playing pig the last few practices after practice.
And who's been winning? Who's been winning?
Yeah, I've been winning. Well, no, Thompson won today, and I came second. But yesterday I won it. But Thompson cheated though. Thompson cheated.
Oh, so no. You can't just say that without explaining why, because Tomer probably will listen and everything. So you can't just say that he cheated. What did he do that gave him an advantage?
So we're on the last letter, and I called out slap shot crossbar. I hit slap shot crossbar right above the slot, and so he shot it like so close to net. Literally like 6 feet away from where I shot it, closer to where I shot it, and hit crossbar, and he counted it. And he's a vet, and I can't say anything.
Well,
I told him that it should have counted, but at the end of the day, he's the vet, and it's his word goes, so I'll give it to him.
He is older, so he needs to get closer to the net to score. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Tomer has to, for Tomer to score, he's got to be right between the hash marks, right in front of the goalie. I mean, come on. I mean, but that's hilarious. So, but how important are those kind of drills and extra time on the ice for a hockey player? Because whether it's Tomer doing it or you're in your first year, and he's played, he's almost at the end of his third year of playing pro hockey. Yeah. How important is it for those kind of drills still, even after Brant has left the ice and he's in his office?
Well, yeah. So I mean, obviously, we do drills that the team needs to work on, and and skill drills. But at the end of the day, individually what you need to work on as a player, and you can really only do that before and after practice when there's no one out there, or you get a few guys to help you with what you want to work on. So, like for example, this past weekend in Motor City, I found that we were able to play behind their D and behind their net a lot more. So after practice this week, I've been working a lot on my turnings and just controlling the puck in the corners and stuff like that, just because last weekend our team was very successful on that. So I think just knowing what you need to work on as an individual, whether it's your shot, whether it's your skating, you just got to go do that after practice. And obviously, even stupid drills like playing pig after practice helps you with your accuracy. You call a post, you call a crossbar, and you're hitting it consistently. That's going to help out with your accuracy. It's a dumb little game, right? I think that's very important to work on your craft even after practice is over.
Sure. Khade, Brant is very particular about systems. He puts systems in place. But how creative can you guys get on the ice during games that doesn't really kind of shift away from playing the systems that well? Because I think creativity, I mean, I think it was Wayne Gretzky that said that if you don't have creativity on the ice, you kind of limit yourself a little bit. So how creative can you guys get, and how important is playing pig to being able to be creative in some cases to make your game better?
Honestly, I think outside the defensive zone, you're allowed to be as creative as you want with them. You know, obviously we have certain plays. We have, we like to play below. We like to play a down low, up high. But as far as, individually, and you're allowed to be as creative as you want, as long as you're not turning the puck over every time, I think as long as you're playing well, you're working hard, and you're being successful with what you're doing, your creativity is really up to us, and he lets us be free.
That's cool.
Outside of our defensive zone, of course.
Sure. In the defensive zone, there's
a little bit defensive in the defensive zone, like if you want to flick it out or do something like that. But like outside of the defensive zone is when your creativity should show.
Awesome. I know you just talked about Tomer being a guy on the ice playing pig. But who's one of the other veterans that you've been able to really kind of pick their brain or get information from that has been really helpful for you?
I think Kyle Steffen has probably helped me a lot. He's definitely one of those guys. He's older. He played D1. He definitely knows a lot about hockey. He has a great hockey mind, and he's also one of our assistant coaches.
Yeah.
I think he helps me a lot. He tells me what I need to work on. He'll point out certain things to me where I don't even see it. He definitely helps me a lot. I think a lot of the guys honestly are helpful. Like Kirkby, he'll tell me when I mess up or what I need to do. Just even little things like just my positioning coming down the ice.
Sure.
Even if it's a little off, they'll let me know. Just because I think it's a good thing. Like I like feedback. I think people know that I want to be better. And they definitely helped me out a lot. So probably Kyle, obviously Kirby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did your slap shot come from? Because a lot of people talk a little bit about that shot and how powerful it is, and they even compare you a little bit to Don Oliveri, who's got a great slap shot. And obviously, he's got years on you, right? He's almost in an old folks' home at this point, So, but where did your shot come from? Was that something that you worked on at a particular level of hockey, or has it always been there?
Honestly, I think I had one of the weakest shots growing up.
Really?
Like my shot was not good. Like I had coaches like I sometimes even though I could always score. Like, people would make fun of, I don't know how that went in. You know what I mean? They'll say little stuff like that. It was like, it's accurate, but it's not getting there very fast.
Sure.
So I think just the last few years, I just worked out so much. I love the weight room. I love working out. And just going in the garage and just putting up shots. And then, obviously, Austin Matthews, I think I like to copy him a little bit, the toe drag release, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just think, just practicing my shot in the garage and obviously the weight room definitely helps with that. And obviously just every time, you shoot it, you shoot with a purpose and you shoot hard and you shoot where you want to shoot it. Definitely helps. Not just going there doing a wrist shot just to get on that, right? So it's definitely about practice. Every time you shoot it, you want to shoot it hard, basically. And I think that helps in game.
Is the mindset any different? I don't think you guys have had a 3-3 yet this year, and so this upcoming 2 weekends, you guys have 3 games and 3 nights, both weekends. So you're playing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. In Mississippi, obviously it's the Gulf Coast. It's going to be sunny. You guys are going to not want to come back to Binghamton after being down there.
Yeah.
But you guys got Watertown for 2 games, and then you guys go down to Poughkeepsie, New York, for a game against the Venom, and then you guys fly out and do 3 games in Mississippi or in Biloxi. So talk to me a little bit about that, the mindset of 3 games and 3 nights. You probably didn't do that much in college, maybe not even in a good portion of your juniors having to play 3 games and 3 nights. What's the mindset going into that?
Honestly, it's just like any weekend. We just got to go in and focus on one game at a time and get the win. right? Obviously, we don't want guys banged up, so maybe not go into every game, looking to fight or do stuff that's going to get people kicked out or hurt, because we need all our guys. So
right.
I think just playing a smart game that will get us the W.
Awesome.
Is probably what we're focused on.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Khade, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Good luck this weekend against the Wolves and the Venom. I know you guys are going to be playing in that arena in Poughkeepsie. You guys have never played there before. You guys had to play, I think, in Newburgh, New York, and so they moved the venue. So good luck this weekend, and thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good talking to you.
All right, awesome. We'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. That was Khade Henry, and really excited and glad to get him on the show. Again, just another group of the players that play in the Toronto suburbs, from Jesse Anderson, Liam Anderson last year, all these guys playing in that whole hub. You could probably go from Detroit all the way up to Toronto and all the suburbs and the small little places there. There's a lot of hockey players there. There's a lot of hockey players that can play pro hockey that come from that area. Toronto is the hotbed of hockey, like Khade said in the interview, but it also is really about there's just a lot of players there. Some of them don't think there's an opportunity for them to play pro hockey, and I think people are finally starting to see that SP and the Fed being single A is still an opportunity for players to come and play, which is very cool. So great to have him on. But I think that's it. The Power Play Post Show is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and just search Power Play Post Show on whichever platform you listen to your podcast. And please subscribe. Please join the Power Play Post Show Facebook group. Just go to Facebook and search Power Play Post Show. Check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your Binghamton hockey information and curiosity. Thank you to Rob Lapoulis, our MC, John Patitucci, our musical director, as well as Khade Henry from the Binghamton Black Bears. I am Bob Howard. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Patitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.